na ba? Yun na ba kaya? Ayan. 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 Okay. Hi and good day! I'm Cedrick Marquez and I will be your meetings host for today. So we will be presenting our work regarding our assigned topic, which is about El Filibusterismo. So we managed to execute it creatively and effectively. So yung idea nito is for us to use the idea of virtual meetings since we want to utilize that kind of setup and make use of our resources like technology, internet, and of course, our skills when it comes to the field of multimedia arts, and of course, our capabilities. And we exerted a lot of creative and effective amount of effort in making this video. So yung goal ng meeting ito is to provide the premises, the interpretations, and the different perspectives about El Filibusterismo. And that would be our main topic. To proceed with the introduction of the researchers,
Hi, I'm Angeline Tan and I'm from the Spinning City.
Hi, I'm Nina ni Bacani from Tondo, Manila.
And I am Renz.
Hi everyone, it's Candice Galera here.
Hi guys, my name is Francesca. Nice to meet you all.
Hi, my name is Charcia.
So, under the main topics, we will also be discussing two subtopics. The first one will be the personal inputs, which will be coming from the researchers. And the second one will be the expert's opinion, which will be people who have a background in studying history or the book.
ayan, thank you everyone. So now let's proceed with the main discussion. And to start with the idea and history of El Filibusterismo, let's have Cheska.
Okay, so here's what I've got, guys. El Filibusterismo, or the Reign of Greed in English, was written by our national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal. This is considered as a sequel to his verse book, Noli Me Tangere, but compared to it, this is much darker because of the scenes like murder, suicide, and sexual abuse that were mentioned in it. The main character, Simone, but formerly known as Crisostomo Ibarra, is plotting a revenge against the Spanish authorities and is intending to stop the corrupt and abusive regime in his land. This 38-chapter book is a political novel that had shown bitterness, hatred, and pain. This book urged the people to see the reality of what was happening and encouraged a rebellion against the Spanish government. Actually, Rizal wrote this 4 years after Noli Me Tangere, which could have been the reason why the sudden change in plot and theme. Within the span of 4 years, he experienced a lot and seen a lot. It made him see things in a different perspective. He began writing this book in Calamba, Laguna on October 1887 and finished it in Biarritz, France on March 1891. This book is actually very interesting to read. It has a lot of symbolisms and meaning behind the story. Right, Cedrick and Charles?
Thank you, Cheska. So let's proceed with the meaning and symbolism of El Filibusterismo. El Filibusterismo means the reign of greed in English. It is derived from the word filibustero. Sinabi ni Dr. Jose Rizal sa isa sa mga kaibigan niya, si Ferdinand Blumentritt, na na-encounter niya yung word na ito, yung filibustero, for the first time noong 1872, kung saan naganap o nangyari ang execution ng Gomburza. And talagang in-emphasize niya o binigyang diin niya kung paano ito nag-cause ng panic sa mga tao, kung gaano ito naging maingay sa paligid ng mga tao, kung gaano ito naging makapangyarihang salita. So, based on our analysis, if we are to compare Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo, mapapansin at makikita natin na talagang mas malalim yung gustong iparating ng El Filibusterismo dahil yung naging strategy ni Dr. Jose Rizal, ipinakita niya kung paano talaga naghirap ang mga Pilipino mula sa kamay ng mga Espanyol. Pinakita niya yung mga ideya ng plunder, yung mga oppression, yung mga iba't ibang klase ng paghihirap, kung saan damay ang mga Pilipino.
Social-political issues mentioned in the Noli Me Tangere are also dealt with in its sequel. The abuses and hypocrisy of the members of Spanish Catholic clergy, superstitions disguising as religious faith, the need for reform in the educational system, and the exploitation and corruption of government officials.
Okay, so how did this book impact the people? Well, no longer as naive and hopeful as he once was, the protagonist of El Filibusterismo exposes the darkness that is hidden beneath the hold of those who are in power. Similar to the state of the Philippines at that time, Rizal captured the need for change in his book perfectly, all the while reminding the citizens to be prepared first before starting a revolt. Ironically, Rizal in his works inspired the nationalists to become more courageous in their fights, and being associated with the Katipunan led to his untimely execution. Unbeknownst to the Spaniards though, Rizal's legacy would live on and light up the flames of revolution further, despite the fact that they banned his books and he died.
And we are here to talk about the different human rights exposed in the novel. Quite interesting, right?
Yes, but first, let's give an overview about it.
So according to our research, a close study regarding Rizal's novel reveals how he stressed the importance of national sentiment as guiding essential in bringing about social change and defending the community against all kinds of injustices. In a scene in the novel where Isagani expressed his desire to help the students establish an institute for the instruction of Spanish, Mr. Pasta expressed his surprise as Isagani had already mastered the language. Mr. Pasta made it even clearer to Isagani that he was unwilling to help his noble cause for education. And mind you, he even dissuaded Isagani from pushing through with his plans. In Nolly's sequel, El Filibusterismo, Jose Rizal predicted the coming of a revolution while hinting in the same breath that the revolution would fail. And today, political intervention and nepotism in the government are very rampant. Many incompetent officials land a career in the government service. Moreover, he criticized weak-willed students who lack self-respect and courage to fight a dampening system of education. To add, Jose Rizal proclaims the unstable and presumably irreversible status of Spanish sovereignty in the Philippines. Yet he never urges revolution. Not only does he condemn independence won by immoral means, like Simon's, he does not even want immediate independence, which could only mean new slavery, right? The task for the Filipinos is to prepare themselves, to make themselves worthy of freedom, and then God will grant the means. But be it a revolution or peaceful separation from Spain, it still is a revolution, right? Lastly, education. Where decent lives and willingness to sacrifice for one's convictions, even to suffer martyrdom, this is the road to freedom that Jose Rizal would want his countrymen to travel.
Thank you, Candice, for sharing those information about the human rights issues. To proceed, we have Article 9. It talks about no one shall be subjected to arbitrary arrest, detention, and exile. After na hindi pinagtibay ng mga praile na magkaroon ng Spanish Language Academy among Filipino students, ang ginawa ng mga estudyante ay they stood against the friars as they wanted to have a revolution against them. But then eventually they will get arrested because the authorities knew their plan.
There is an additional article we can talk about, and it's Article 17 of the Human Rights. Everyone has the right to own property alone as well as in association with others. And we could relate this to the scene in El Filibusterismo wherein Thales did not want to get himself caught by the friars as they order him to claim the land, which is sad because it's really unfair to Thales' part. It's an abuse to the Filipinos, right?
And by that, we could also say that Article 23 talk about a human rights issue. Article 23. Everyone has right to work, favorable condition, and has the right to equal pay in equal work. In the situation of Thales, there was an equal pay rent among the farmers. Since Thales don't have enough money, the friars increased the rent of the land, and yet it was confiscated.
Lastly, I have here Article 26, which states that everyone has the right to education. And we're lucky enough to have this, right?
Thank you, Candice. Here's an interview I made with Alejandra Indrina from Panabo City, Davao del Norte. who's an expert in the field of local governance and public administration, and this was her statement. The 19th century study classroom scenario described in the novel displays to a massive extent the criticism about the college training today. Role learning has been viewed as an inappropriate way of educating younger people. Some of the frequently mentioned elements of current education refers to fundamental thinking, energetic learning, and the getting to know of the life skills. School education is supposed to put together young human beings to become productive and active members of the society in the future. Nobody argues against the goal of education. In the context of the modern day, parents prefer that their youngsters are ensured of the vicinity in the great personal company or government workplace with the aid of having diploma from fine private and public colleges. So basically, Dr. P. Rizal criticizing the state of the Spanish colonial education system in the Philippines. So now let's move on to Anne's topic.
Thank you, Candice and Renz. Jose Rizal was a victim of Spanish brutality in his early life, which led him to have an unfavorable perspective of the Castilian imperialistic administration. The social condition of the Filipinos during the Spanish colonial period was miserable in the aspect of agriculture, commerce, communication, and education. The injustices and brutality of the Spaniards contributed in shaping and provoking Rizal's life philosophy. Jose Rizal launched La Solidaridad because he was encouraged by the revolts against the Spanish Empire. El Filibusterismo is dedicated to the three Filipino Catholic priests, namely Mariano Gomez, Jose Burgos, and Jacinto Zamora, who were executed in order to instill fear among the Filipinos because these priests had agitated the Spaniards for greater political control over the nation's destiny. The execution of the Gumburza was significant to the title of the novel. Now, Cedrick will discuss the conclusion.
After we have learned the premises of the novel El Filibusterismo, we should recognize and acknowledge that it serves as a great material for us to understand the reality of what happened years ago and how it awakened the minds and the hearts of the Filipino people. With this, the novel would allow us to realize the importance of fighting for what is right and just. No one deserves to experience slavery and pain in their own country and territory. It is important to fight for our freedom. It is also important to fight for our country. And last, it is important to fight for our identity. We are the second group presenting Dr. Jose Rizal's El Filibusterismo. Thank you for listening.
Thank
Bye
you for
guys.
listening.
Thank you.